Win totals are coming out for your San Antonio Spurs, and one prediction model has the Spurs just barely getting 55 wins. I don't know about that, guys. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another episode of Spurs In Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music. You pick a platform, we are there. Spurs In Focus Substack is completely free. Search for that right now. Hit subscribe. You are in. My name is Jeff Garcia, longtime Spurs writer in San Antonio, and thank you for making Spurs In Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. And yeah, don't forget to give me a follow on X as well, Jeff G Spurs Zone. We're having an audio episode today. Of course, our guest could not make a video, but hey, we're still here to get you through this long off season. I'm feeling it now. That feels like the off season is in high gear right now with practically nothing going on. But there are some stuff we're going to talk about. Another prediction model is coming out projecting NBA teams win total. And one prediction model was very interesting. They're going like kind of like on the low end that the Spurs are barely going to get 55 wins. We're going to show you the graphic, what they're projecting for your Spurs. Get into the Spurs news. Castle is talking about what he's working out this offseason. Team France update and Chet Holmgren. We'll find out what we have to say about him in just a few minutes. Bring our guest, Mr. Rudy Campos with the Sports Answer. You have a sports question? He is the Sports Answer. Rudy, how you doing?
Good, Jeff. Good. It's another great day. Talking Spurs basketball.
Absolutely. He is on next at the Sports Answer. You want to follow him right now. Hey, Rudy, these prediction models, man, for the win totals that are coming out for the upcoming season are coming out fast and fiercely. And one website / prediction model, Kalshi, put out their predictions on the Spurs win total. And this one was kind of on the low end. I don't think I've seen a lot of websites say, well, the Spurs are going to get like less than 60. I've seen a couple of those, but not to this point. Let me put it on the screen right now for everybody to see. And this is via Kalshi. Check that out, Mr. Campos. It is more than likely, according to the prediction model, that the Spurs are barely going to get 55 win. I know barely, right? But we're coming off a 62 win season. 72% chance that is more likely to happen than the Spurs getting a 60 plus win season. Rudy, you see the graphic on your screen. What are your thoughts?
I mean, you really can't. I mean, you can really get upset, as Spurs fans because you coming off of a 60-win season. But the chances are Kelsey's probably looking at maybe injury concerns. I mean, we've always talked about how injury could derail a
Yeah.
year for the Spurs when it comes to Chet Holmgren or De'Aaron Fox dealing with the ankle injury from last year. That could be one of the reasons why. Also, the other reason why is because the competitiveness of the league itself. Teams
Mm-hmm.
are getting better, and all around, you saw the Eastern Conference improve on a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
different teams. You see the Western Conference kind of reloading a little bit as well. Most recent news: DeMar DeRozan going to Denver. That
Oh,
makes
yeah.
them a lot
Huge.
better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like the league is evening out. So I can understand being, you know, Kowski maybe saying 55 wins, but keep in mind that's probably the minimum win total
Yeah.
that Kowski is going to give them. So it's not saying they're going to win 55 and that's it. It's probably the minimum that they're going to go with. But yeah, definitely low. I mean, if you look at ESPN's, win totals, they only have the Spurs and Thunder winning 60 games. Is that something that you and I kind of said all summer
Yes.
long? Is that those are the only two teams that we see maybe even hitting that 60 game mark. But Kelsey saying 55, I buy into it more as just minimum than it does actual total win for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I am leaning towards 60 or less, but not to 55. I think 55 in the grand scheme of things is like, really, you could muster up 5 more wins, Spurs, but I'm around the 59 range, 60,
Mhm.
58. That's where I'm at right there. So it kind of does line up with Kalshi if I'm going to go with 72% of the Spurs winning just 55 or more games.
Mhm.
Rudy, you mentioned the Denver Nuggets picking up DeMar DeRozan. How does that shake up the West? Is it now really just a 3-team race, or is it still that 2-team race with Spurs and Thunder?
Well, the loss of Peyton Watson for Denver, it does hurt them a whole lot, but
Hmm.
then you go and add DeMar DeRozan. One of Denver's biggest things last year was scoring, and DeMar DeRozan, as Spurs fans know, he is a scorer. He can put the ball in the bucket, as easily as anybody in the league. So
Hmm.
I think it does come to a three-team race in the West, though, with Denver, OKC, and
Hmm.
San Antonio. Um, and then there's kind of a little fall after that. Not
Hmm.
too much with Houston and Minnesota as well. So I want to say it's a three-team race, but you still have the Spurs and OKC as the 1-2. Um,
Right.
Barring any injury, I mean,
Yep.
then you can maybe throw Denver in there if the Spurs and the Thunder kind of have some injury concerns. But
Hmm.
right now, it's a three-team race in the West.
Yeah. Why I think maybe the odds should perhaps favor 60 or more wins is for what the Spurs did this offseason. They're building upon last season's finals run. You add Tobias Harris, you add Billy Donovan to the coaching sidelines, you re sign Champagny. Vic got his extension. Those are just all positives towards another 60 or more win season. You add the fact that this team is pretty much running it back for the most part. Harris and Donovan are the biggest acquisitions. But I think you put their time together last season, the disappointment that's taught them a lot of lessons in losing the finals and the way they lost. They're all seasoned now. Should bode for another 60 or more win season. Although I am personally thinking maybe 58, 59, 60 as the top. I'm not going to be surprised if the Spurs do get another 60 win season. But Rudy, would you be surprised if they get less than 60?
No, and it's not by
Hmm.
much though. I think I had him at 58 on the low end, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, what would surprise me is the total collapse. Like when
Yeah.
Antonio, even not making a play in or a playoff spot, that would surprise me and shock me. But no, I mean, 58, 59 wins would be good. Even if they got to as low as 56, 57. I mean, again, it's not a bad season at all. And it's going to be a
Hmm.
very competitive NBA season. So no, it wouldn't shock me at all. I think this would shock me. I guess if you want to talk shock value, if they got to like 64 wins, 65 wins,
Really?
that would shock me the most because then this team, kind of bought in a little bit more to what the staff is
Hmm.
doing. They're gelling a lot more. And who knows? I mean, the potentials of that happening are a little bit better because again, you've got De'Aaron Fox, who's been the scapegoat for every Spurs fan and
Oh
everybody
yeah,
in media.
still is right now, Rudy.
Yeah, he still is, but you're giving him a full healthy off season with
Hmm.
Victor now. So it should be, beneficial for the team. But I think that would shock me more is if they got to that 64, 65 win, because I think the league just got a lot better over the off season.
That's a good point there. I think about that, like doing the flip. Would it be more shocking if the Spurs do get 60 or 62 or more, building on last season's
Mhm.
win total? For me, that would just speak volumes, as you mentioned. If the Spurs get 62 or more, then that just tells me something happened with the Thunder. Denver probably, Joker and SGA must have gone out. Something crazy like that. Chances of that happening are likely not gonna happen.
It
But
could be that they're better, those three teams. Let's just say OKC and Spurs. It could be that those two teams could get to 64 wins. And it's not because they're injured, it's just they're that much better than every team in the league. And
yeah.
I mean, that the chances of that happening are really slim, but at the same time, it could have. They only play what, 4 times a year. So say they
Hmm.
split the Steven series. I mean, that could very well happen.
Yeah, exactly. I look at the Spurs team, and a lot of people out there feel like it really is just a two-team race ultimately with Thunder and Spurs. But you mentioned something last time we spoke about win totals in the Spurs is the anti-tanking rules, and I think that's getting lost in the shuffle, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you got a lot of teams that are they're gonna be bad. Let's be honest. Sacramento is gonna be a very bad team. Looking at everything, Charlotte, as much as they were good last year, they may not make it into the play-in in the Eastern Conference this year. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see how teams play this year. Are they gonna really play rough? Do the tanking rules really affect them? Keep in mind the draft coming up this year is not a very loaded and stacked draft.
Hmm.
So it's almost to the point where if he tank, okay, big deal. If I don't get the first pick, no big deal at all. I'd rather not pay. And think about this, is that the one thing that I brought up to a couple of guys that I talked to, I brought this up. I said, as much as we talk about the anti-tanking rule being affecting teams where if I am the worst team, I get the worst pick, that's always not necessarily the bad thing, Jack, because now you don't have to pay number one pick money. If you get the fourth pick, you're saving a few $1,000,000 instead of paying that guy at number one. So you go into salary cap issues, and that kind of bodes well because then you have that few extra $1,000,000 to go sign a free agent or to add to one of your young core guys for an upcoming extension. So there's positives to anti-tanking, and then there's also the negatives to anti-tanking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a big thing to keep an eye on. And you look at this the West too, man. Utah, Portland, Dallas, Denver, Houston, Minnesota, Lakers, as much as people want to poke fun at them for losing LeBron, but they did pick up some quality players along the way.
Addition by
Even though,
subtraction.
yeah, exactly. Even though there is somewhat of a drop off between SA, OKC, and Denver, those are still teams that could put a fear into the Spurs or any of those top three teams in the West. I don't even know. Do you want to throw in Golden State in there? I mean, it feels like their last hurrah right now.
It feels like their last hurrah. I think Golden State kind of gets into that play-in spot. Keep in mind, we saw a very, 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 you know, really good offseason and a very transitional offseason for a lot of players, especially a lot of big name players. I mean, LeBron going to Philly, Giannis down to Miami, and you have LaMelo in Minnesota. But what everybody's got to keep in mind as well is that there are a lot of players on current teams that could still be moved, a la Joel Embiid. If Philadelphia doesn't get off to a fast start, and they notice that it's not pushing between LeBron and Joel Embiid, which they've had their problems in the Olympics, if people remember. If that doesn't work, we could potentially see Joel Embiid getting moved, and where he gets moved, if say he gets moved, for example, the team you mentioned, to the Golden State Warriors,
Yeah.
you're pairing up with Draymond Green, Joel Embiid, and Steph Curry. So that could pose an issue in the Western Conference. Does he go, to another place? So there's players out there, there's superstars and stars out there that are still on the trading block, I guess is what you can say, that have potential to be moved throughout the season, depending on how seasons are going for certain teams. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I think that's why I said, months back, I said a 60-win season is going to be super tough. We may see only one team hit it, that being either OKC or San Antonio.
Yeah, absolutely too. And I look at this Western Conference NBA right now. Obviously, the East is now the new beast of the East. Now everybody say the beast of the West. Now is the beast of the East. Now that's where all the action is going to be. The West, you can still have your slugfest, and I think for the Spurs, you cannot play down to their competition. We saw that somewhat last season, Rudy, with this young Spurs team. I think that's one of the biggest lessons they've learned since last season going into the new season. Is they can't play down to competitions. We've heard it over and over again, especially early in last season. Oh, we played down. Oh, we didn't step up our game. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's going to help them this upcoming season. Again, barring any type of major regression, I think a 60 win or more season is realistic. But with load management, the Spurs seeing that some of their key players got gassed out in the NBA Finals, that could take priority and thus see the Spurs drop a game here and there. The only thing that would change, I think, Rudy, if it gets highly competitive down the stretch. If there's a month left in the season, Rudy, and it's Spurs Thunder battling for that number one spot in the West or / the NBA, I think that might help push the Spurs to 60 or more. But if the Spurs get the number one seed or just say lock up number one or number two, I can see them kind of coasting the rest of the way into the playoffs. Well, there you have it. The Spurs, at least in this projection model via Kalshi, has the Spurs at minimum 55 wins. Still technically a good season, but I don't know. I think maybe we're just underselling the Spurs getting 60 or more wins. But let us know what you think. Let Rudy know on X at The Sports Answer. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. When we get back, I'll catch up with some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed, including Stephon Castle talking about what he is working on this offseason, Team France update, and Chet Holmgren. Yeah, here's some interesting non-words to say. We'll talk about that in just a few seconds.
As your one and only leader, I order you to subscribe to Spurs in Focus. And all hail Cobra!
We're back right here on Spurs in Focus, joined by Mr. Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer. You have a sports question. He is the Sports Answer. He is on X at the Sports Answer. Hey, Rudy, you want to get into some Spurs news right now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, first up is Stephon Castle. He spoke with the NBA, and he talked about what he's focusing on this offseason. Let's take a listen and watch Castle talking about what he's fixing into the new season.
A lot of shooting, working on my base a lot, just rhythm things, just sharpening things up.
All right, there you have it. The rest is just a montage of him in the gym. Rudy, they say don't take off-season workout videos too seriously because it's in the gym with no defenders. But are you buying that maybe he could be a better shooter next season?
He improved this past season, so I can buy that he's a better shooter. I mean, it always is different when you got defensive players and competitors playing alongside you and you're in game situation. But when it comes to shooting, a lot of it is just rhythm. So he improved last year. I don't doubt that he'll improve a little bit more going into this season. So it's good to see that one, if not probably one of his biggest weaknesses is shooting coming into the league, and he continues to work on it. So it's going to be exciting to see how much he has improved.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I got here a shot chart. We can see how he looked like last season, shooting from the range there. He says it's via 3 steps basket. And yeah, he's obviously, we know in the paint, that's where he lives. So 57% there at the rim. That's, not shocking there. But you look at that one corner 3 on the right there, 44%, but it's kind of like a mixed bag. You get the 44% shooting stroke from the 3 line there at the the corner there, but then you look over like 14% in the mid range. Then you got 20% on the left corner 3, then 35%. He's like, it's a mixed up everywhere. So he is getting better. He definitely has his spots, but man, Ree, I guess though the art of the mid range game is really dying, isn't it?
Yeah, for a guy that his capabilities, he should be living in that mid range. Gets to the basket really well, and I think if he's able to just practice on that mid range game a little bit more, you'd see a significant increase on point production from him. He would actually even open up the lane a little bit more for him if he's able to get that mid range down too. So great that you practice it on the 3 ball. I mean, everybody lives and dies for the 3 in today's league, which I don't like to. But if he can get into that DeMar DeRozan range, that LaMarcus Aldridge range, or that mid range, or their bread and butter, he could be really deadly.
I got a feeling like if he could get that outside perimeter shot going, he could be knocking on the door of an all-star berth, even if it's a reserve. I think he really could. That could really elevate his game, be beneficial not just for him, but for us, the team. Defense have to honor him. You can see on the right side of your screen, everybody at 42% mid range. Defense will be like, yeah, to go for it, Castle, go for it. Our odds are in our favor. Look at that right above the free throw line, 57% shooting, not the best, but not the greatest. Not bad, but you see weaknesses: 39% in one corner of the 3, 29% at the top of the key of the 3 line there. So it definitely is a mixed bag. We'll see what Castle does in the offseason. He's been training with the what's it called? The guard whisperer, Simplest. I think that's his name. Yeah. Rudy, you would be called the rebounding whisperer for players to work with you.
Yeah,
right.
I used to rebound the ball a lot, man. That was one of my bread and butters, was rebounding. I never once, I don't know. To me, rebounding is actually a lot. It's pretty easy. It's just about bodying up on your opponent, and then who wants it more, and then timing. It's all about timing too.
Exactly. Look at that. Watch out, Rodman, Barkley. Rudy's gonna go for your records. It's coming up soon. Yeah. All right. Let's catch up with some more Spurs news and notes. Here's your quick Team France Wembanyama update. They won. Yes, they won a friendly matchup versus Serbia. Wemby did have a better game this time around. I believe he finished with 18 points. Shocker here. He missed all his 3-point shots. Again, loving floating away from that paint area. But nevertheless, he had a double-figure scoring output. So all in all, a great game. A better game. I should say great, but just a better game for Victor and Team France. 18 points, 2 blocks, 5 for 6 from the field. Again, missing all of his 3-point attempts. Now, Team France will next face Slovenia on August 27th, so tomorrow in France. I don't know if that's an exhibition game or the real deal, but either way, if it is an exhibition, it is their last one. If not, they got to win in order to qualify for the 2027 World Cup qualifiers, and that will get you into the Olympics if you have a good standing. So good luck to Team France and Victor Wembanyama. And although not directly Spurs related, but kind of sort of, Rudy, did you catch that video where they interviewed OKC's Chet Holmgren about the addition of the Wemby stopper? That big guy they drafted recently. And he just said the usual, good guy, good teammate, the usual canned answers. But when asked to give his top 5 big man / centers in the NBA, he refused to answer. Rudy, you taking that as a slight at Wemby because he doesn't want to mention Wemby, or maybe he doesn't want to include himself because there's no other quality players above him? I don't think that's it. He's a competitor, but I find it interesting that he had a chance to give his top 5 current NBA big center, and he said no, he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't find it as a slight. To me, it's actually surprising that Chet didn't say anything and didn't mention anything, because a lot of the players today, they got to stroke their own ego and they got to make themselves look good. So of course they say, well, of course I got to put myself in. Chet, to me, did the right thing, honestly, Jeff. I mean, you don't want to give any more ammunition, or you don't want to put any more gasoline on a fire, knowing you got to play these big men, every single night. So just by saying, not saying anything at all, it doesn't really slight to anybody. If, it's Spurs fans and, whoever needs to, boost their ego and say, oh, he's, he should say Wemby. He can't say Wemby because Wemby's better than him.
Yeah.
I mean, the tape says it all, and the video shows it all. Wemby does dominate short, pretty much in every aspect of the game. So he's not going to really come out and say anything, only because he's got to play against these guys nightly. And why put anything, on the bulletin board in the locker room for other players? So yeah, definitely, I respect him for not saying anything at all.
Who are your top 5 currently in the NBA right now at the big spot, that center spot?
Nikola Jokic, I would definitely put up there.
For sure. Yep.
Actually, Victor Wembanyama would be another one.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Karl Anthony Towns, I put him up in center, especially the way he played last year, the adjustments that he made with the New York Knicks.
You got Embiid in yours? I mean, is he there?
That's the problem. A healthy Joel Embiid, I definitely would put him in there because, it's Joel Embiid. You definitely got to have him in there. But if he's not healthy, I'm after that, Jeff. It's almost really hard for me to say center wise, because you can maybe throw, what's his name, Bam Adebayo in there.
You can throw Bam in there. You can throw in Mobley. I throw in Mobley in there.
I would probably think, because you go Mobley and you're like, well, you get defense and you get some offense, but you also get the disappearing act. So, you could say Jalen Duran, but then you get the same thing you do with Evan Mobley. So outside of those 3, if I had to pick, a healthy Embiid would definitely be in there. And then probably at number 5, I'm going through the whole list in my head right now of everybody that I can think of. And golly, man. After that,
it's tough. It's tough. I does Chet crack at least top 10 if he's not on the top 5?
Yeah, honestly, I would probably end up putting Chet Holmgren probably in the top 5. I could look at Jaren Jackson Jr., but I think
I was going that direction.
Yeah, Chet to me, probably provides more than Jaren Jackson Jr. does. So I would definitely have Chet in the top 5, and there's no doubt in my mind right now.
Yeah, I think I would give my number 5 spot to Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr.
And that's not a fight. I mean,
No,
to be honest, you could make a case to put Chet above Bam Adebayo. I mean, you don't get consistency out of Bam. You don't get real consistency out of Chet. I mean, if not for an 83-point game, Bam Adebayo is just, another center in the league.
Yeah, I know.
He does good stuff, but he's not doing anything more than what Joker or Wemby or even Embiid does when he's healthy. So
does Sabonis plays the 5 or he plays the
I
big
think
4?
he's considered a 4. I consider him a 4. If he
He's
plays
considered
the
4.
5,
Okay.
yeah, I consider him a 4.
Yeah, I seen him play the 5 more often than not. Maybe that's just throwing me off. But is Aiden even in your top 10 right now?
No.
Aiden.
No, never has been.
Oh, he was the number 1 pick. Remember that?
Yeah, we've seen more number 1 picks fail or not have great careers than we've seen anything else.
Man, it's like he's unwanted everywhere. But no, again, it was interesting to just see Chet kind of just say, no. But for sure, I got no particular order, Wemby, Joker, as I mentioned, Triple J on there. I have Mobley in mind. I think, I know he doesn't give you that much offense, but I think he's there. He's one of the better centers.
So you would leave Karl Anthony Towns or
out? Man, like Cat. I forget about Cat. No, you know what? You're right. I got to take out Mobley, put Cat in there, and then out. But yeah,
Cat. I mean, I know we got to go, but before we go further than Cat. You got to give a shout out to Karl Anthony Towns because he's always been labeled, as a guy that's going to do good but not great. Last year, as he did with New York, you got to applaud what he did with Mike Brown.
We have to, yeah.
I mean, Mike Brown got him to buy into the system and to buy into playing a different role in the team, and you saw what happened. I mean, outside of Jalen Brunson, I mean, he was the Knicks probably one of their best players, if not, the best player when Jalen Brunson, was kind of struggling. You saw Cat picking up, but it's the little things that Karl Anthony Towns bought into. There's the reason why the Knicks are NBA champions last year. So yeah, you got to applaud him for what he did last year.
You think everybody's just hanging on to Bam getting that scoring record thingy, the 80-something, 80, what do you have, 83?
It's all he's going to be known for. I mean, congratulations. You got forced into scoring 83 points. I mean, you won't ever, it's weird. No, you're not going to ever see, a true game, a true Kobe Bryant game, where he had 81 and, it just didn't feel forced. It was just, he was hot. Bam's was a forced 83-point game. And yeah, that's comical. It's always going to be a comical thing for that.
How did we not leave out Luke Cornett in our top 5, Rudy? How did we not do that?
Usually you just don't mention it.
Oh man. Yeah, I was watching. I was looking up some of the plus minus numbers the other day. And when just in different categories, and with Cornett, it was interesting. The Spurs offensive rebounding percentage just skyrockets when he's in there, just skyrockets. Offensive rebounding, and apparently he's pretty good there, getting those second chance points there, or opportunities, I should say, for the silver and black. All right, those are your quick Spurs news and notes. But let us know what you all think. Do you agree with Kaushi saying at minimum the Spurs are just going to get 55? At least that's what the odds are saying that's more in favor of. They're saying, hell no, they are a 60 win or more. And what do you think about the latest Spurs news and notes from Castle and his 3 and his shot overall? Team France and Wemby, and then Chet doesn't not want to answer who are on his top 5 centers list. Let us know what you think. Rudy, tell us about the answer.
Yeah, so all you got to do is go to YouTube, search Answer Now TV, hit that subscribe button, and catch myself and Derek Trevor and Jeff from time to time over at the Sports Answer. So again, Answer Now TV on YouTube and hit that subscribe button.
Rudy, are we going to be doing a live show tomorrow?
I don't know yet. It's still considering that I have, dad job duties with sports stuff. It's kind of hard to get an actual day, but it's either Thursday or Friday.
All right, we'll try to get one in.
Spurs In Focus. I'm sorry, Spurs In Focus.
Yes,
should be. I'm thinking about the answer, man. Spurs In Focus. It should be tomorrow. Yeah, we should be able to work something out.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll work something out. We get back on that live train. Again, we skipped last week just because, it's the off season. Rudy has some stuff to do. But hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. If not, as Rudy said, we'll figure something out. Rudy, thank you so much for your time, for joining us here on Spurs in Focus. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I mean, seriously, YouTube Music, YouTube itself, the Pocket Cast. You pick a platform. We are there. The Substack is free. Spurs in Focus Substack. Go subscribe right now. And as always, I thank you for making Spurs in Focus your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. If not, maybe Friday. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. And now you're in focus with Spurs in Focus.